This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you've had that sound from Babbel before, I bet you do. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app that actually works. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel gets you on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. With over 16 million subscriptions sold and a 20-day money-back guarantee, just start speaking another language with Babbel. Right now, up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Spotify podcast. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify podcast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
We have on the line Borough President Vito Fossella. Vito, thanks for joining us. I see that all those picket lines outside the largest Amazon facility, which is on Staten Island, they're down. Does this mean the strike is over?
Well, first off, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. I think what I read was that they sort of took a reprieve, perhaps a little Christmas holiday, but I don't think it's over. The indications are that they're going to come back in some way, shape, or form. That's my understanding, but I'm not really directly involved in it.
All right, and congestion pricing, we're running out of time. January 5th is supposedly the startup. Any developments in your lawsuit that you filed along with the UFT and the other lawsuits pending?
Yeah, what happened recently, there are several cases, as you know, occurred as you've been following it. Thanks for following it so much, you and John. There's one in Jersey, there's one in Rockland County, and ours was in the Eastern District, and the judge denied the injunction, which would have stopped it, right? In other words, just put the brakes on it until the case is heard on the merits. So that's what happened recently. What still is in play is our claims, environmental claims, Commerce Clause claims, right to travel claims. That's in our case. But the Jersey and Rockland County cases are handling different legal issues, and there's been really no main decision on those. So our hope, frankly, is in one of these cases is that it's delayed until after January 20th. We know that President Trump has publicly stated he opposes congestion pricing because it would hurt. He knows it would hurt the people of this region, businesses, and especially the people of Staten Island in a three-strike loser: traffic, air pollution, and tolls. So we're hopeful that we can delay it enough that the president will step in and kill it.
Vito, I hate this expression. The Greeks have the expression, they are sucking our blood.
Yeah. Well, John, this is the big picture, right? I mean, we're fighting this every which way, and we greatly appreciate you giving us the opportunity to speak out on this. The elections, it's a benign comment, but it's so true. Elections have consequences. If you elect people who support congestion pricing and these sort of radical, in my opinion, it's sort of a radical idea. If you support people who support those, then that's what you get. So I'm hopeful that this continues to be a wake-up call to folks to put people in office who will be more sane, loaded with common sense, and not suck the blood out of individuals and businesses in this city and this region. I think it's wrong, and I think people are waking up. I think November was a true wake-up call for the American people. But as you said repeatedly, John, let's get more focused here and take them back to this city and state.
Borough President Vito Fossella, explain, though, since the congestion pricing just passed two hurdles, with other hurdles remaining until January 5th, how can the president intervene? What are the powers he has since this is now part of our law? It's being reviewed by federal judges. Let's just hypothetically say in the final stages, the federal judges hearing these cases say, green light. How does the president stop this?
Well, for example, if one of the cases suspends the implementation of congestion pricing and requires a more comprehensive environmental impact statement, the initial assessment was just an environmental assessment, which is a lower standard, a lower bar, and we have maintained that is really too low of a bar. So if it has to go back to the federal government for review and approval. And if President Trump is the president at that time, his administration could theoretically say, no, we don't support this. Your modeling doesn't make sense. This hurts the environment. Their own study, Curtis, demonstrates and reveals and validates that 6 toxic pollutants in Staten Island will increase. That's their own study. So we have been saying since day one, why would you intentionally harm the people of Staten Island and other parts of this region? So that's where the president and the federal government could step in. Don't forget, the Biden administration gave their blessing to this. The Trump administration can undo that blessing.
So with the secretary of the EPA being our own Lee Zeldin, former Congressman Lee Zeldin, you have someone who already campaigned against congestion pricing when he was running against Governor Hochul and just barely lost. So you already have a bird in the hand.
Bingo, right? Not only has the president of Trump come out against it, but we have an ally, Lee Zeldin, in some, as you just mentioned, not to repeat it, but he's not only familiar with it, but also says he hates the idea. So I don't see how, once he's in office, would allow it to go through, even its current form, let alone the one that would come back before him. So we're very hopeful that if we can wait until after January 20th, that congestion pricing won't see the light of day.
Let me ask one more question. This is more of a countrywide basis. Governor Newsom has reiterated that no gas cars in California after 2035. What happens on January 20th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where President Trump takes office?
I think it'll be a glorious day. I mean, you're already seeing the positive feedback, not just here in Staten Island, but in many parts of this country, that the country is getting back into the hands of the people, and not these so-called radical ideas that were rejected, I think, overwhelmingly in November. And California, listen, it's got its own problems. People are fleeing there left and right. The only migration flows are those who go in there illegally, just as they're coming to New York. People are leaving New York in droves, and the only ones that are coming here for the most part illegally. I heard on your show last night, John, hopefully the next governor of the state of New Jersey, talking about if congestion pricing goes through, they're going to retaliate.
Jack Citarelli.
Yeah, Jack, he was on. He did a great job. But he said that in other words, you can't stop it. Common sense is if you want to harm us, we're going to harm you. So he talked about charging New York drivers who go to New Jersey. We know on Staten Island so many people have maybe second homes, families, shop in New Jersey. I mean, it's a disaster in the waiting. So these concepts, these ideas that the government is in control and the people are so stupid and they're going to keep sucking the blood, in your words, John, I just hope we keep fighting back and put those folks who have these crazy ideas, frankly, out of office.
I agree. Bert Flickinger, you were yawning over there. What are you saying?
Not yawning, but recharging. And Congressman and Borough President Fossella, you've seen government catalyze the congestion itself with these absurd bike lanes, with these absurd unregulated.
The bike lanes are killing. They're killing people. The most dangerous thing is not the trucks, not the cars, is trying to get to the sidewalk when a taxi lets you out.
And, John, they're unregulated. The scooters, the e-bikes, they're killing more people than the pollution. And the politicians catalyze the congestion that Borough President Fossella and congressmen and the senators and the presidents are all saying no paying for congestion pricing because it was City Hall in Albany that created the congestion.
It's a very good point, and we have to take a step back. Sometimes we take things for granted. You know, a lot of people on Staten Island have no choice but to use their car to get to work or to go shopping or to take their kids to school, whatever the case may be. But there's an anti-car culture in this city and state that every day they wake up and they say, how are we going to hurt people who drive cars? How are we going to get people out of their cars? And what they do over time, it's not done in one day or a week, it's done over years, is they say, okay, we're going to put a bike lane here to make the driving experience a little bit more miserable. We're going to take this driving lane away to make it more miserable. We're going to add.
They're going to close down Fifth Avenue. They got 5 lanes at Fifth Avenue, and the traffic is crazy, and they want to bring it down to 3 lanes.
And kill tourism.
Who's the insane people that want to do that?
Killing tourism, the economy, and people's livelihoods, like you're saying, John, so well with Congressman and Borough President Fossella.
And they've added, there's not one thing that they have done. When I say those, and John, you asked the question, who are they? Some of them, listen, they're advocates. They're out there. You know who they are. They're alliances, get people out of cars. They come by all these fancy names. But a lot of them work for these agencies that implement those policies. They're activists, and I can't think of one plan in the last 15 to 20 years that has made a driving experience more pleasurable. And everything they do, putting sheds in the middle of the streets, they take lanes away. They add bike lanes. Just recently, there was a discrepancy between some of the folks at DOT who said that they don't want to regulate these e-bikes that are killing people in the streets, as you indicate. The mayor himself has come out and said, I support it. So even within the administration, there are discrepancies. We just need to get this place back in order and put people who have common sense back in charge.
Merry Christmas, Vito. Enjoy the new grandchild.
Yeah,
and we'll catch up again real soon. We have to take a break right now and enjoy the family.
God bless, John.
God
Merry
bless.
Christmas to all of you.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.